being intentional really allows God and the universe to put the type of people in your life that will help you achieve the things that you want to achieve. Hey y'all. Okay, so this video is gonna be a very yappy video. If you recall my last vlog, I mentioned that I'd recorded something, but my hair looked kind of crazy in it. So I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna redo it. And after I was watching it back, I don't think I can redo it. You know, I told myself that I would record feelings that I have in a moment. And if I try to go back and recreate that, it just would sound not genuine, because not saying the feeling has passed necessarily, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to turn the camera on right now and just talk to it. So I'm just going to put this clip now. But I have more yapping to do. So whereas last video I had gym and all type of stuff, I have so much yapping to do. Because I skipped a week, I have an extra week of things that I need to catch up on. And I've had gigs and things like that where I'm like, oh my gosh, if I record this, I'm just gonna have such long vlogs, which I still have not found a good vlog pacing yet. Some people's vlogs are an hour long, some people's vlogs are shorter. So I'm still trying to figure that out. So with today's video, I'm like officially like catching up to those 2 weeks. So I don't know how long this video is gonna be. And then I'll be like on track, if that kind of makes sense. So, yeah, let's go to the crazy hair video. Okay, so it's May 5th, and I think I just had a major personal discovery. I might be more of a creature of habit than I thought. Because my life is like so sporadic, god damn, and all over the place when it comes to like trying to schedule my life or have better habits or be more consistent in things, where having had more time to be intentional about those things, I think I realized that I actually am more of a creature of habit than just sporadicness than I thought. Hear me out. So ASEAN has been gone since April 27th. It is now May 5th. That means she's been gone for about a week now. And first of all, so much has happened this past week. We're going to get into that in a second. I don't know how I'm going to edit this, so it might either have already happened before this clip or whatever. I still want to speak on it. And I talked to my therapist about this, where I told her, I was like, you know, it's so interesting because I'm about to work on music, obviously. It's so interesting because I love my fiance, Zam. That's my baby. I want to spend all my time with her, right? But I've also realized that there's beauty in being by myself, if that makes sense. Let me explain. Now, I have no issues with being by myself. There was a point where I was single for like several years. And I like my space. She likes her space also, which is one of the many reasons why this works out so well, because she could be downstairs watching anime. I intentionally moved my gaming setup that used to be right there in its own gaming space downstairs. So even though we're close in space, because the living room's here and that room's over there, we're still doing our own thing. You know, we have the opportunity to pop in, check in on each other. Her studio and her room is downstairs. Our bedroom is upstairs. This is obviously my studio and my space. So we have our own spaces, but like two creatives living together and being together and having no set schedule because both of our lives are so sporadic has been such a learning thing for both of us, I believe. I'm obviously only going to speak on my part, but if she might be up late working on some album stuff or whatever, and I'm actually like, all right, I'm going to get to bed early, naturally she might roll out of the bed a little bit later than I would. And I'm a big cuddler, okay? So I'm going to want to stay in the bed and cuddle, honey. So getting up and still, you know, with her still in the bed, it's like, okay, well, I could kind of, you know, so I think there comes a certain level of comfortability when you're in a relationship where it's like, I love my person so much, I want to spend all this time with them, but I guess I still have to go out and be responsible and do my own things, you know, for my own career. But I think we've done so good with getting to a point where, from a communication standpoint, for me personally, like earlier on in our relationship, when I'd be like, all right, let's go to the gym or blah, 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 I want, you know, and she'd be like, okay, well, I have something else to do, or I'm tired right now. I just purely don't feel like going. That would bother me because I'm like, well, you know, this is not saying she isn't, so I want to clarify that also, but I'm like, well, if I'm prioritizing health and making sure that when I have the most energy in the day, I'm going first thing in the day most times and all that stuff, why is she, you know, and I would take that in a weird way where over time, you know, just even with personal development, with things that I've been working on for myself in general, there's a balance between leading your household and still allowing your person to be themselves. I don't ever want to come off as I'm controlling your life or we got to do things on my schedule as it is, which I know that some of my tendencies have probably come across that way. But you know, we've pivoted to the point or adjusted to the point now where, you know, even if I'm choosing to go to the gym first thing in the morning and knowing she had a long night or knowing she needs a little bit more rest, like I'm not going to be like, yeah, we're going to the gym at 8 o'clock. That's not going to motivate her to go, you know? So instead, you know, I'll get up and I'm like, okay, I got to fix Kyle breakfast, maybe take him on a little walk. And instead, if I'm getting up at 9 or so, I'll be like, hey, I'm leaving for the gym at 10 if you want to come, which gives her the option to make that choice. But also I'm giving her enough time to figure that out versus like, hey, we are leaving for the gym at, you know what I'm saying? So I don't even know how I got on that part of the rant. But anyways, so she's been gone. And something that's been very important to me on this 365-day journey of developing and building my dream life has been having some sort of schedule amidst the chaos, right? Now, let me tell you about last week. I think I got a couple of clips because for every other gig, I left my SD card at home. When she left on Sunday, this was not yesterday Sunday, but a week ago Sunday, I don't think I had any gigs on the books for this week. I was just going to sit down, focus on building out a schedule, figuring out what I want my daily habits to be, figuring out, like I mentioned in the last video, a good routine for when I'm actually home. When I tell y'all within a matter of 24 to 48 hours, my week turned the hell up. I was asked to DJ this Glass Notes event for Bel Air and Red Bull, which is basically was an influencer-based event where we're just playing music, having a good time, and filming it. I thought that's all I was doing because of the recent single, What's Up With It, and me being like, okay, maybe I probably should get back outside, and having conversations with my producer friend, Mr. Hankey, who's been serving as a mentor of sorts. You know, he was like, something that I appreciate you is you're promoting the record that you're a part of. And I'm like, you know, you make a good point, because something I don't see other producers doing, which at this point, like, he's at the level where he doesn't, you know what I'm saying, but is like actually promote the records that they're on, because that's also, you're also as much as, not as much as, well, depending on the splits, I don't know. The artist is getting paid off that record, but as a producer, so are you. And especially if you're the sole producer, that's a half and half split. Why would you not promote the songs that you produce? But I was like, I know, you know, Atlanta has R&B nights and things like that. So I hit up my really, really good friend, Mixmaster David. I was like, hey, what you got going on? With the initial intent to just go back out and support, you know. And so I went to an R&B Wednesday. It's actually Brian Michael Cox's and Keith Thomas's on at Flow. Went out to that, was kicking it with them. You know, Mixmaster Dave was like, hey, literally everything is just, it's just so interesting how things work. Like, I think, and I just realized my brain is all over the place. Goodness gracious. I'm going to get to the development that I had today. I just need to break this down for y'all real quick. Okay. Being intentional really allows God and the universe to put the type of people in your life that will help you achieve the things that you want to achieve, right? So for me personally, although I live in Atlanta, unless I'm doing a sports team, I'm not DJing anywhere else, right? So I'm not DJing at any of the social clubs. I'm not DJing at any of the lounges. I'm not DJing at any of the bars, things like that. That's a two-part situation. The first part is when I first moved here and I was out networking, doing all that stuff, I was severely underpaid. That's because there's such a saturation of DJs here in Atlanta that because of the music industry that's here, that'll do things for the cheap, for the low, and promoters, instead of valuing that, would rather go with that and keep all the money for themselves. So that's a whole nother thing that just kind of turned me away from the nightlife here. But you know, the other part is I don't have a big community here because I'm not from here. So all my DJ homies that I consider to be really great DJs here in Atlanta, they're either from here and or they've been here for a very, very long time. And so, you know, imagine starting out DJing in high school or in college. You're doing college parties. You already have years of establishing a community in a place where you can build events, where you can build nights, where you can build these types of things. And I haven't had the chance to do that. And part of it could be maybe I was going about it the wrong way. So I'm actually going to be initiating something fun and new that I'm going to try. So like I told y'all last time, I don't like speaking on things until that, but I'm going to try something. Doing that has just been very difficult for me. And so I shared that with David, and he's like, don't even worry about it. Say less. So Thursday, right? I DJ the Glass Notes event. Then I pop up on David at this place called Whiskey Mistress. He introduces me to literally like 8 people, right? And they're like, oh, if David's vouching for you, you must be legit. If David's vouching for you, you must be legit. Which is a whole nother thing. It's so when people are vouching for you, it is important to keep in mind the reputation that they have with those people. That could make or break opportunities or chances for you big time. If you think your big homie or a friend or a DJ was like, this well-respected person and they're really not, when they introduce you to people, those people are not going to take you serious. Keep that in mind when you're asking certain people to vouch for you. Do you know what their reputation even is, right? So that is amazing because giving David his flowers, clearly you've established such a great thing here in Atlanta where business-wise and musically, people are like, oh, if it's coming from him, absolutely. I literally locked in with like 6 or 7 different people. So much so that, hear me out, moving forward to Friday night, DJ Supreme had asked me to DJ the 4th anniversary of his event called Deeper. When I posted that I posted my Deeper flyer without, most times like the things that get the least amount of traction on my pages are like flyers, because people are either like, okay, cool, it's in my city, I'm coming to pull up, or, it's just not it's just like an announcement, right? When I posted that on my page, the amount of people that hit me up and even the people that commented, I'm like, what? I'm like, okay, because this ties back into the Atlanta community-based thing, right? So go, show up, smash my set. But one of the guys that David introduced me to was there for my entire set. And he texted me and goes, I see why David recommended you. This is also why it's important to stay ready so you don't have to get ready, okay? I know that I'm at the point in my life and my career where all I need is a chance. Just give me a chance. Rihanna, we gonna blow this tour up, honey. Just give me a chance. I have worked on my craft for so long that just give me the chance to be in front of the right people, to DJ the right types of events. Just give me the chance. It's over with, right? So after that, Saturday, periodically over the next 4 or 5 months, I'm going to be DJing at the rooftop at the Lifetime Fitness Center in Buckhead, which is like if you know what Lifetime Fitness is, then you know already. But like the Buckhead location is like the prime time location. Like all types of celebrities work out there. It's like a big social gym club. Honestly, they have a bar, like a couple bars, actually, really, really lit. So DJ'd that until 3 o'clock. And then had to DJ my first professional women's football team game, which was so freaking cool because my dad told me that women cannot play football professionally. And here they are. And it's not a bikini league. Like they were padded out. Like it was actually really, really fun. And I'm at that gig and I get a call from David and he's like, hey, are you free tonight to open up Sweet Lounge? Which Sweet Lounge is one of the most popular lounges in Atlanta tonight from 10 to 1. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. He's like, okay. Text Tori. Tori is now the second person, right? That night that David introduced me to people, Tori is the second person. He's like, cool. I texted him. I was like, hey, David said this about tonight, 10 to 1. Are we locked in? He was like, yeah, it's normally like 10:15, 10:30. But yeah, so let's lock it in. I was like, cool. He's like, let's see what you got. Once again, all I need is a chance. Came in there, smashed that shit. Okay? Fast forward, right? Another call that I got earlier in the week was to DJ this, I don't know if it was like a pre-Mother's Day event or just like a family event for the Atlanta United, the professional soccer team here, for them and their families. And then I was asked to DJ a bereavement brunch for grieving mothers for the Rocket Foundation, which is Quavo and Takeoff's foundation. So both events, amazing, great stuff, right? All that to say, I went from thinking that I had a pretty free several days to develop habits and to develop things before Azian gets back home so I can be in the flow of things that by the time she gets home, I will be inclined to continue doing those things. And that's what they say when you tell God, we want a way to make God laugh, tell him your plans. So that's basically what happened, because I've been asking for more stuff and especially building community here. And anyways, so all that happened. And so back to my development, that was how I started this thing like 15 minutes ago, is I was so busy. I did not go to the gym the past 2 days, especially because some of the gigs were late till 2, 3 o'clock. So I'm not getting up at 8 to make sure I'm done working at, well, I haven't yet, to make sure, get 8 to make sure I'm back home at 10, 11, 10 something to change to get to midday. Right? But something that's been so important for me that I know in the first video I listed under content creation, I probably should have had under personal development, honestly, which is why I think it's great that I'm documenting this kind of stuff, is doing it when I feel it or when it happens. As soon as the thought crosses, do it. 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 That has been my biggest thing. And I've noticed such a change in my brain chemistry by doing just that. And it sounds like it's such a small thing, but it literally trickles into every part of your life. Like, just do it. You thought about it for a reason. I mean, obviously, if it subjective here, right? So, but like if it crosses your mind, do it. Do it instead of like waiting, right? Once again, it probably sounds super like small, but it's something that I've noticed is very, very big when it comes to breaking out of bad habits and just develop and showing God and the universe that you're ready for bigger things. That is kind of how I correlate the two, right? To round out this development. God damn, I'm really a yapper. This is crazy. I told myself I'm sleeping in today. I turned off all of my alarms, right? My schedule as far as going to the gym, which is typically first thing in the morning, I'm not doing that. I'm going to go after I work on some music because I owe some people some beats. Such a great thing to say. I think I'm going to have to find a balance between when I have multiple gigs in a day and still having like a good schedule, because I feel back regulated now, if that makes sense. Like, I was slightly overstimulated the past several days, just because it's like boom, 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 but I feel like my body feels more regulated in the sense of, okay, back to this routine thing that I didn't think I really had, which was based on the fact that I've been building a routine slowly but surely over months, but like very intentionally over the last, oh my gosh, in 10 days, it'll be a month since I've started my 365 days of building my dream life. And it makes a difference. A little bit every day really makes a difference. And I can feel me being less stressed. I get anxious from time to time, but I feel like my body, because your body keeps the score, good book to read, by the way. But I feel like my body feels more regulated. Like I don't feel like I'm like, if that kind of like makes sense. And that is because I've been intentional about just doing little things every single day. And so the development is the fact that I didn't think I had a routine or my, whatever I actually do, which makes me even more proud of myself because that means that the things that I've been doing and the way I've been working on myself has been working. Welcome back. Day is May 17th, and what a 30-ish days it has been, man. It's interesting because like I have always like assumed and have seen moments where I've had like moments of intentionality where it's like severely paid off, but like consistently focusing on being intentional has made me feel so good in so many different ways. Like it's hard to explain almost. Now that's not to say the last 32, I guess, days have been perfect because like I told you, if I'm on my cycle, I'm not doing a goddamn. And so I had 2 days, literally, yesterday and the day before, but especially the day before, day one, where I was in the bed all day. I was in bed all day. And then I moved downstairs in the evening, and then I was on the couch. So, but yes, lots of incredible updates. If you haven't seen on my social media channels, Azian's album is out, and I have 4 beat placements on that album. And as of today, the album is number 4 for R&B albums. One of people's favorite songs on the album is a song that I produced, which that feeling is insane to me because I never knew how it would feel for people to like songs that I was a part of making. Obviously, I would hope you like them, but for it to be happening in real time and people being like, hey, love the album is amazing. These are my favorite songs. And in those collection of favorite songs, my production is sprinkled in there. That is such an incredible feeling. Like I can't even describe it. And I'm just so excited because having been a part of this body of work with Azian and her being my fiance is like insane. And like there were moments, to be completely honest, where like, because we've been sitting on some of these songs for a while. Like some of the songs that I'm not a part of, she sat on for even longer. But some of the songs we made, she sat on for like at least a year, just trying to piece everything together and things like that. And so the songs that people are hearing now for the first time, I've heard this entire project like 6,000 times already. But I had moments of doubt where maybe just like because of the over listening, I was like starting to be super nitpicky about certain sounds that I selected or certain things. And I'm like, okay, I need it. And she's like, babe, it's fine. It's fine. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't know. Cause now I hear this or now I hear that, you know? So I think there was some happy anxiety, if that's like a thing, attached to it. And then, cause today's the 17th, and it released, oh wow, it just literally released yesterday. It feels like it's been days already. But so many great things have been happening for her with that. So just super excited. But so it's been out for a day. I mean, that sounds like it's been out for like 3 weeks. Just to see people saying like the album musically is so good. I love the lyrics. I love the harmonies. I love the production. Like that's my contribution to the album. And I'm like, oh, y'all really like it? Like, so the times were, and there were quite a few times, honestly, because I also have never had any beats placed, you know, and with Azian being who she is, like she'll tell you, I've had moments where I'm like, you're not just putting this on here or including my beat because I made it and you love me a lot, right? And she's like, babe, I love you, but I love my career. I wouldn't do anything that's bad for my career. So I'm like, okay, so that would make me feel better. And then like a week or two later, I'll be like, okay, you still like this beat? Okay, you still like the song for So, you know, kind of quieting those negative thoughts and that negative self-talk was a journey for me. And then now that it's out, I was just like, I literally was like, it would break my heart if people were like, oh my gosh, yeah, I love every song except for this one, this one, this one, and this one. These are all horrible beats, you know, because that would really hurt my feelings. But that hasn't happened, you know, so for me, that kind of showed me like people be anxious. I be anxious. It is what it is, you know, but these are things you can't control. And I know I put my best foot forward with these because something else I'm thinking about is because these beats are over a year old, I've made so many more beats since. And so I'm like, okay, do these beats still sound good? You know, just in my head. But all in all, super excited, super proud of her. She's already getting booked, you know, all types of stuff. And it's going to be so crazy to me once she performs the songs and her album and the songs that I'm a part of, and like seeing people sing the songs that I produced. It's gonna be crazy. Like it's gonna be so crazy. I remember when I used to want to be an artist and how it felt in my very small shows because I did not have, you know, people singing lyrics back to me that I may have written or what, and I'm just like, this is just a surreal feeling. So I'm super excited about that. Super, super excited about that. But yeah, I can't remember if I talked about this in one of my previous videos, so I'm just going to briefly touch on it. But back when I first started creating content or making DJ videos, which was like 2017, 2018, you know, I had went viral quite a few times. And because I'm the first entrepreneur in my family, first like musician, definitely first DJ, as far as I know, in my family, I didn't really have a lot of guidance. And so there have been times over the years where, you know, I've just thought to myself, did I miss my chance, if that makes sense? Like, I remember when I first started going viral and when I first started live streaming and things like that. And then COVID, and people were like, oh, come to Seattle, come to Dallas, come to Detroit, come to. And because I had zero experience, I didn't know how to book a show. I didn't know any of these things. I just kind of like sat and waited, and I was like, okay, well, let me take some time to figure this out, and let me, and I wasted so much time where once TikTok came around and then people started doing stuff on TikTok, people are having the same type of tours that if I would have jumped on that years prior, I would probably be in a completely different space by now. And I was telling Azian, like, all the like 90s and throwback stuff that's hot now, I spearheaded that years ago, and all the parties and the touring, and I'm just like, you know, this is another reason why I feel like when God puts something in your head, you need to act on it, because there's a reason and it will get passed on. And I feel like a lot of those ideas got passed on. And so I was like, did I mess up my chance? You know what I mean? Because in certain industries, but especially in the music industry, if you, sometimes it's a one and done. You know what I'm saying? But I say that because I finally did my first TikTok live 2 days before my cycle started. So what was that, like May 13th? Yeah, it was this past Tuesday. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try a TikTok live. When I tell y'all, first of all, I completed my third live just shortly before I started recording this video, and I still don't know what the hell is going on, right? But my first live, 1,000,000+ likes, had at one point over 1,000 people in the stream, averaged like 600 people. That to me felt like how it did back when I first started creating content and back in the COVID days, when I would have thousands of people tune into my live and they were like, come to so-and-so, come to so-and-so. And, the same thing happened to me on TikTok this past week. Like I said, I went live Tuesday, Wednesday was going to go Thursday, but Mother Nature said, hell no, sit down. And then went live again today. And the same thing, like, oh, you got to come to Dallas, and South Africa checking in and New Zealand checking in. And that's exactly what happened to me the first time when I first started posting DJ mixes online, when people were like, come here, come here. And then promoters reached out and started booking me. That's how I was able to tour in New Zealand and Nigeria and all these things because of that back in the day. And so having people come back in the live and it just kind of feel like almost like I didn't skip a beat. Almost made me emotional the other day because I'm like, I can't remember the amount of times that I've talked to ASEAN where I'm just like, I feel like, did I mess up years ago before her and I even know each other? But obviously we're able to have these type of conversations, because she's been in the industry for over 20 years. So it's nice being with somebody where you can have those types of conversations, being that we're in the same space. But like I would tell her, like, I feel like I missed my chance. Like I don't know. And even with me saying that, it's like my chance at what? I don't necessarily want to be #1 best DJ in the world ever, period. I don't necessarily have those types of aspirations. I want to be the best me, and I want to be able to impact and inspire people in the best way that I can through music. But like getting to the point where I can be booked for like a Coachella and a Rolling Loud, or where a large artist, would want me to go on tour with them and things like that. Like obviously that all comes with establishing yourself as a brand and as a consistently good DJ and things like that. And so I'm like, with the algorithm coming into place, because there was a time where everybody, if they followed me, would see my stuff. People now are like, oh, where have you been? And I'm like, I've been posting for weeks. What do you mean? Where the platforms will favor people that have, a bit more momentum. So it's just been like a super interesting time for me mentally for years, honestly, just like figuring out like, what am I supposed to do? So all that to say, having gone live on TikTok this past week 3 times now, and just seeing that type of energy back in my face, so to speak, just kind of feels like a second chance of sorts, For those of you that knew that I toured in South Africa last year, y'all saw the video about the experience that I had. So with me having like booked a couple shows now and things like that, I have different connections to different venues, and I'm able to possibly even book those things myself. And like, instead of waiting on people or waiting on venues to book me or waiting, like I do have a lot more years of experience under my belt now where I can do that myself. Do I want to necessarily? Not necessarily, you know what I'm saying? But I actually because it obviously it's a lot of work, but like I just feel like I have the chance now, and I'm not gonna let this pass me by a second time. So excited about TikTok, going live on there, gonna keep that up. It's actually been kind of fun, a little overstimulating because there's so much going on at one time, but I'm super excited and super thankful for that. I told y'all this is gonna be a yapping session. This is a big yap. So if you're still here, thank you so much. Like this video, drop me a comment on something that you've been working on for the last couple of years, and some goals of yours. Of course, subscribe, hit that bell, all that good stuff. Your girl also is on the radio now. That was a goal of mine for a very, 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 very long time. As of right now, it's not the traditional like Monday through Friday, blah, 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 only because they also didn't have a budget for it and, things like that. Still got to know what your worth is in certain instances and stuff like that. But I do understand the power of being able to have a radio spot. So every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I have an 11-minute mini mix on the Angela Yee show, Way Up with Angela Yee, where I'm just basically getting everybody ready for the weekend. So being on the radio consistently has been a goal of mine for a very, very long time. And I feel like this is just the beginning. I feel like a mixed show, is on the way. So I'm very, very excited about that. But yeah, so that is another goal I can check off the checklist now. I've had guest mixes. So I've been on, radio in Indianapolis, and I've had guest mixes here in Atlanta and on Sirius XM and things like that. But actually having like a weekly thing where I can create something weekly, I haven't had that. And so I'm so excited about that. That's another update for you guys. Let me see. I'm trying to see. I made sure to write these things down because, like I said, I took like 2 weeks. We're back now. So I should be able to, One last thing I want to talk about is I recently became good friends with someone who's an executive at a record label. And, I do believe in the saying that your network is your net worth, because you should be able to talk to the people around you and be inspired by people around you and just have elevated conversations. And this person has absolutely been that. Now, it's also helpful and super beneficial that he's also in the industry because we can have like certain conversations, you know what I mean? I enjoy intelligent conversation. I enjoy elevated conversation and just being challenged in the way that I think. Because I don't think I'm right about everything. I feel like I know a lot. I've got a big brain, you know what I'm saying? But it's nice having like challenging conversations, like in the healthiest way possible. I don't mean for this to sound crazy. Like I like feeling challenged or feeling like I'm, like something here I need to work on or that can change to continue to elevate my life. You know what I mean? And be able to have that like equally yoked situation. You know what I'm saying? His wife is a big fan of ASEAN, so that's even more awesome. We're actually going to go on a double date when we come back from our family trip to Germany, so that's going to be super exciting. Super sweet family. Be selective with the people that you have around you. I remember this was maybe a couple years ago. I made note of the fact of how many people. I didn't make note of the fact, but I noticed a change in the amount of people that texted me, had my personal number to text me to wish me happy birthday. And I remember thinking back on like middle school and high school, especially when cell phones were first a thing, how on certain days or like Thanksgivings, Christmases, like my phone would be blown up like, oh, Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving, Happy Birthday, and over the years, like that quantity has dwindled down and dwindled down. And I remember a couple years back, I noticed that and I was like, is this a bad thing? Am I a bad person? Does nobody want to be my friend? But then it just made me realize, as you get older, you do have to be more selective with the people that you have in your life and with the people that you're choosing to keep close to you, the people that will and should be wishing you a happy birthday and vice versa, things like that. You know what I mean? And so I've just noticed, and being in this industry is also an interesting place as it is by itself, but, and it can feel kind of isolating sometimes, but, I have a group of supporters because I don't like calling people fans. I don't like doing that. Like, y'all are family at this point, what I'm saying? Supporter family where, I have a core group of supporters that you know who you are. You're probably watching this video. But when it comes to like my personal life and things like that, like I'm so proud of the people that I do have in my life because I don't have to question anything with anybody at all. And so when I noticed a couple years back, I'm like, dang, well, those are the people that were never meant to be this close to me anyways. Like all my personal relationships are so solid for the most part. Now that I'm sitting maybe like one or two, but there's nothing wrong. I think we're just growing into two different directions, They are so solid. I literally have zero drama in my personal life. And that is such a good feeling. I don't have to worry about backstabbing friends or my family being weird or whatever. Like I'm so thankful and grateful and blessed to have that. And so I remember when I noticed that, I was like, no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just I'm getting older and I've been more selective, and the people that I've selected to get to know and that to let them get to know me and care about and want to be there for and all those things, they are not transactional relationships. It's not a, hey, what can you do for me? What can I do for you? Like, I genuinely care about these people. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, I'm glad I started to focus on the people that I had around me, I feel like that all started with making sure that I choose the right partner, because I haven't always been too good at making those decisions, leading to like a lot of heartbreak and, things like that. But yeah. So that's been super nice. Let me see what I got coming up here. Atlanta Dream season is back. We have the home opener next week. I'm obviously going to be recording all of that. Very excited for that. Going to be at State Farm Arena against the Indiana Fever. Big, big, big game. I'm excited because now that I'm caught up, because now I need to hurry up and edit this video so I can drop it tomorrow, so I can make sure that I'm all the way caught up, so I can everything I record this week will be for next Sunday's vlog. I'm just excited. I'm excited. I feel so optimistic with achieving the goals that I've written for myself. Not saying that in the past I've necessarily been not optimistic, but discipline, what the people say is true. I hate to say it, what the people say is true. Everything starts here. Everything starts here. And that mental discipline, it all starts here, because it trickles into every other part of your life. So many things that I've been wanting or asking for, where I might not even see a nudge in the needle forward in the past month, have been like, and I'm like, if all it took was for me to really lock in for real, why didn't I do that sooner? But you live and you learn. We're here now, can't go back, can't go forward, so super excited to see where the next 11 months now, because I don't know what the math is on that. I know it's at 365 days, but since a month has passed and there's 11 months, you get what I'm saying. Does my hair look crazy? I feel like it's too late at this point again. Oh well, raw and in the flesh, okay? But yeah, man, super excited. If you've been looking for a sign to lock in, I'm telling you, lock in. Lock in. There are still many things that I feel like I want to accomplish that I have zero idea of how I'm going to get there. Like none at all. At all. So all I can do is focus on the little things that I can do now. And what I've noticed in this past month is, with me doing that, it has unlocked other things that I might not have known how to figure out or how to even approach starting to do. So yeah, big yapping session today. Lots of revelations. But once again, thank you so much for being here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with a friend. Go be great, okay? You only have this one life you get to live. Make it exactly how you want it, or at least, as close to as you can. Okay? Okay, you got this. Catch you next time. Peace.